What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at more cards from Code of the Duelist. This is Go from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains anime. I talked about him briefly in another video, and these are his Gouki archetype, and I've actually read over these guys. I think they're pretty interesting, and I don't mean interesting in the sense that like they're just low-key shit, but I don't want to call them shit, and I can't think of anything else to say. I think they're interesting in the sense that they seem very throwback, they seem very beatdown oriented, they seem kind of caveman Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face and see what you're gonna do about it. Like, I like that. I like that simplified gameplay because, I mean, this guy does appear to be like kind of the musclehead character of the show, kind of like Gungetsuku. If I were just to take a wild guess, obviously never seeing Vrains, I'm gonna say that him and Yosaku are going to have a conflict before they become friends. And then I'm gonna say that this is going to be like probably his best friend on the show, but I don't think they're gonna start as friends. This guy might actually punch Yosaku in the face before they end up becoming buddies. And the artwork of this archetype, especially this damn Link monster, is really good. Like, this is magnificent. I mean, this guy right here, he looks like he could easily fit in the dual terminal too, like with Evil Swarm or Still Swarm. As soon as I saw this card, I was like, please don't let this archetype be utter garbage. Just make it at least casually good, because I really don't want this artwork to go to waste. And I don't know, I kind of like the archetype so far. So again, this is the Gouki archetype. The Link monster is called Gouki the Great Ogre. It's an Earth Warrior. It's a Link monster, obviously. It's Link 3, 2600 attack. Obviously, no defense because it is a Link. And all the cursors, what I like about this card, they're all pointing down. That means you don't have to worry about putting this in your extra monster zone and then your opponent being able to do like some plays or anything like that. Like, all of the zones, or excuse me, all of the cursors point down. So only you get to use those, which, again, I really like. It requires a minimum of 2 Gouki monsters. All monsters on the field lose attack equal to their original defense. This is really cool, and wow, actually just reading this for like the 4th time, I actually understand I understand how this archetype works, because it just dawned on me that this works on your monsters as well. So your monsters could lose defense, but obviously since Link monsters don't have defense, they'll never lose defense, and it explains why all of the monsters have 0 defense. I like that effect. Again, this is what makes me think that this is just an old school beatdown deck. It's predicated around making your opponent's monsters super weak, and then you just run them the fuck over. And I mean, that's pretty much just like a very simplified game plan. Effect number 2. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can destroy one of this card's Link monsters instead. So ideally, you're going to want to keep some cards under this guy, keep them protected, and just kind of make it a pain in the ass for your opponent to try and deal with. I mean, it kind of would be nice if it couldn't be targeted, but can't have everything in a card. Second card, Gouki. Oh my goodness, I can't pronounce it. Gouki Twist Cobra. It's an Earth Warrior. Oh, by the way, the entire archetype is Warrior. So Konami, if you could get on that reinforcements of the army to 3, that would be much appreciated. It's an Earth Warrior, level 3, 1600 attack, 0 defense. You can only use each effect once per turn. They're both hard once per turn. Effect number 1, during either player's turn, you contribute 1 Gouki monster, then target 1 Gouki monster you control. That monster gains attack equal to the attributed monster's attack until the end of the turn. I like this card a lot, and I'm going to read the second effect, and then I'm going to tell you guys why. The second effect says, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Gouki monster from your deck to your hand, except itself, except Cobra. Okay, so this guy is kind of like a baby Honest. Obviously, it doesn't work in the hand, but it can be used during damage calculation. And what I like about it is you contribute any of your Gouki monsters, it contributes itself, and then you power up another Gouki monster. So let's just say that you tribute Cobra to power up your Great Ogre. Okay, so you're going to give your Great Ogre 1600 attack. It's going to go to 4200 attack, and then you're going to be able to replace this guy and search for him immediately. And it also, if you use this guy to Link Summon, he replaces himself too. So it's like if you use his effect, he replaces himself. If you use him for Link Summoning, he replaces himself. Like, again, so far I like this archetype. It's just, I don't know, it seems really good to me. The last one is Gouki Suplex, which makes me think that this guy might be a professional wrestler. If I had the picture that showed his full body, like, the dude looks like he's a biker who's actually a wrestler, kind of like the Undertaker when he went through his whole American Badass phase. Gouki Suplex, it's an Earth Warrior. Level 4, 1800 attack, 0 defense. I expect everything in this archetype to have 0 defense. Otherwise, the Link monster would kind of fuck up the stat line of the monsters. You can only use the second effect once per turn. Effect number 1, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Gouki monster from your hand. Okay, it's kind of like a Marauding Captain or a 10 Goldfish or whatever. Effect number 2, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Gouki monster from your deck to your hand, except Gouki Suplex. So I kind of wonder if every Gouki monster is going to have that effect of when it's sent to the graveyard, add another Gouki, because I can think of another archetype that had that, guys. It's called TG. The archetype was pretty good, and these guys, they actually get their effects when synchroed or when link summoned. TGs had to actually be destroyed, and you didn't get to search into the end phase. So I don't know, dude. I kind of like these Gouki monsters. Hopefully they get at least a couple more cards, like maybe a couple of spells, and hopefully they just keep getting supported, because out of the 3 main characters cards, I kind of like the Goukis the most. And I'll talk about the girls cards probably in another video. They're not as good as I hope that they would be. They're called Tricksters, and oh god, I'm feeling another Melodious coming, guys. I'm really feeling another Melodious, but these look pretty good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Also, last thing that I want to add when it comes to Goukis, these second effects are all if, so that means that they cannot miss timing, which is very important, because, you know, there's things like Interrupted Slumber that make cards miss timing, and I'm hoping that the entire Gouki archetype, at least the main monsters, like the non-extra deck ones, I'm hoping that they're all going to have this effect number 2, where if they're on the field and they get destroyed or they go to the graveyard somehow, whether you synchro with them, whether you link with them, whatever, if you tribute them, they search, you know, copies of other Gouki monsters, but not themselves, because then it'll just make the entire archetype float. It'll make it so your opponent never wants to kaiju them, your opponent will never want to Regeki them, they'll never want to torrential them, and it'll just make them extremely good. Like that's a way of making these kind of adjusted to power creep, and it'll put them in a league kind of similar to like Yang Zings and like Burning Abyss, where they come out and they feel pretty strong immediately. So far, I have to say, out of all the stuff from Code of the Duelist, these are the cards that I most want. So again, let me know what you guys think.